How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good.
Anybody have any questions before Ron and I jump in? No?
No, what you got to say?
Awesome.
We'll have some fun today.
Yes, yes. Anything you guys want to get out of the class that you want us to make sure we cover?
Learn how to do ads.
I love it, Jim. I love it. All right, Ron, you want to go ahead and start us off?
Sure. Yeah, well, thanks for everybody for being here. Shelyna and I just wanted to kind of tag team with you guys today and talk a little bit about Command and how we can put together some ads. We put together some ads over the last, I don't know, Jack has helped us with some of them, probably over the last 6 months, and some have been actually pretty successful. I know through Command, we had found that in Command, they're really easy to do. Once you, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The thing that I would add for going through Command versus going through your own Facebook's website is the fact that we have such an accumulation of participants that Facebook recognizes Keller Williams is probably one of their top one, if not two, largest clients, really, because we have 180,000 agents that are signed up with Facebook. So that's when we talk about why to go through Command, that's one of the reasons. And we find that your price per view or price per click is going to be much less than doing it on your own. And like I said, Shelyna and I today wanted to spend some time with you and kind of walk through that process. I know, Shelyna, you asked earlier, and I'll put that out there for those that are online right now. Are there any key objectives other than kind of walking through the process that anybody would like to kind of put on our, that we can put on our bulletin board that we make sure that we cover early in this?
Yeah, Ron, I'd had no experience with this, but I've heard that you get better quality or more leads through running it through Command than you would through another service. Not necessarily doing it on your own, but running it even through another service. Is that been holding true, Shelyna? Maybe that question is for you, or I'm not sure.
Well, I would just add that I know that the ones that we've run, we've had good feedback on them. We've had good participation, and we haven't really compared. Like if we took, Jim, to answer your question for everyone else, we haven't taken the exact same ad and run it on Command compared to another service. Like we actually have actually run ads through a separate, what we call Agent Legend, and right. We haven't run the same ad to say that. But I think in general, you'll find that running them through Command, you're going to have a less, the cost of it's going to be much less per view, per click, and per lead. And I'll show that to you in a little bit.
All right.
And so to piggyback on to what he said, yes, that is absolutely correct. And one of the reasons is because we have such a large spending account. So it goes into one general spending account. So unlike when you're doing your own ads via Facebook, you get charged up front with Command, and that goes into this big pool, and Facebook is gradually taking the money from there. So since we have such a large account, our ads get better placement. And so better placement leads to better results. And what I've noticed from when I did the testing ads, I noticed that ads that I was getting from the Command side, they were actually scrubbing. And so I probably would have gotten 30 leads. Well, it's actually 26 because this was a bad email. This was a bad phone number. And so most people on Facebook are still using college email addresses. Like, I don't even know what email address Facebook has for me. And so that's one of the things we run into is when Facebook goes select, they can't put in Mickey Mouse 123 unless that is their email address, because it will flag it and say, that's not a valid email address. And so they're clicking on, and we'll show you here in a second when we do the ads, when they click on continue with Facebook, it's using whatever Facebook has for them, which is what we want. But because we have such a large spending account with Facebook, our ads get better placement and we get better results from that.
That's a good point. Okay. I think what I'll do is, are there any other questions at this point? I think what I'll do is I'll share my screen, and Shelyna, you can pipe in, Jack as well. But I'll go ahead and share my screen and what we do to kind of walk everyone through that. If we go, and let's just kind of start from scratch. And I don't know where everybody is in all of their learning, so I'm just going to go to our home page. If you go to your command home page, and as you see on the left-hand side, you've got all the drop downs, of course, smart plans, contacts, and then what you want to drop down to is you want to drop down to the mega horn called campaigns. And then if you go into campaigns section and just click on that and let it regenerate, you'll come to a landing page which talks about the different types of campaigns that you can run. This is your dashboard for kind of what's going on. Then you have paid ad campaigns. That's where we want to go. Emails, direct mail, and social posts. What I'd like to stay focused on today, and we can answer questions about the other ones, is click on the paid ads. And you should be able to walk through that, as we kind of go through this. So what you're looking at here is some of the ads that we have run over the course of the past several weeks. And you can see that we have one active ad going on this particular home we call Harvest Glen. And this gives you a summary of how well your ads have done or how they are doing in terms of, the duration that you set them up, the cost per, I think it's cost per 1,000 or cost per million, cost per click, and then the cost per, this is the one that's the most important, and that is the leads per click, and then the total spend per campaign. As you can see, we spend anywhere from $10 up to $100. This one that we have right now, we repeated starting yesterday, and so far it's actually performing pretty well. We have had it on the market one day, and our cost per lead, since we have 3 leads here, as you see here, is only 57 cents per lead. That's pretty darn good when you talk about the number of clicks and the number of leads that you get on a per click basis. So what I'll do, I don't know what's in the way right now. I've got to move this over here. So what I'll do right now is let's just create a test campaign, and I'll kind of let me walk you through that. And what the first thing that pops up is the social ad, paid campaign. You can have a Google ad. You can do just a normal social post. And again, I would say, while it's easy to do on your phone social post, I think you'll get a much better audience if you go through command on your general free social post, and then you can do direct mail and email. But for the purpose of this lesson, let's just come here and do create a social ad paid campaign. So at the top, we're going to call it test. Let's just call it test. Test buyer, Zoom. Anyway, test buyer Zoom. So what's your goal? The things that you're looking for, you've got a lot of different things that you can pick out. From advertising your listing to attracting talent for those of you that might be interested in doing some recruiting, brand awareness. And for the sake of this one, let's just talk about attract buyers, because I think that's why we're here, is to attract buyers and attract leads, buyer leads. So I'm going to click that. So find buyers who are looking for agents to help them purchase a home. You can run a campaign, the same campaign on all three categories. You can do it in Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook all at the same time. And mainly because Facebook is the most prevalent and it's going to get you the broadest audience. Let's just stick with Facebook for right now.
And Ronnie, real quick on that, just to like the goal doesn't, if you click advertise listing versus attract listing versus brand awareness, it's not going to change the placement of Facebook. That's really just for the algorithm of, or it's really for our data on command of knowing what people are clicking for which post. So that doesn't have anything to do with if you click attract listing versus attract buyers, it's not going to put it in different places on Facebook.
Gotcha. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So in this particular one, like I said, we'll stick with the attract buyers. Let's go ahead and click the set up the campaign. And what this does is this is the, move this back over here a little bit. This is your desktop web page or your desktop page that you're going to be working from. And as you can see, it's one of those situations where you take each area and you just kind of click it off, done, 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 done. And this is the great thing about Command is that it walks you through the process of setting up a Facebook ad. So we've already made, go ahead.
Ben, before you get too far down the pike, it says, where did you want your campaign to run? Back on that.
If I go back over here, I'm going to try to back click.
So, Jim, you want to click on Facebook?
Yeah, just click on Facebook.
I understand that, but that's hooking into a personal account. How do I get it to hook?
No, it hooks to your business account. You can't run the ad without a business account. And so that's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. If you don't have a Facebook business account, this will not work for you. You have to have a business account. Your business account is tied to your personal account. And so, yes, you'll see your personal information. And as you go through this, it's going to ask you, where do you want it to place? It's automatically going to place it on your business page because Facebook does not allow you to post ads via a personal page. It won't even let you. So it's going to automatically place on your business page, but you have to have a business page set up. So thank you for mentioning that. You guys have to have a business page set up.
So if I click Facebook and I click Instagram, that's going to come out of the same bucket, right? Payment, basically.
Yes.
Correct.
Same.
And remember, Facebook owns Instagram, so it's still running. If you want to run an ad to Instagram, it has to be done through Facebook. And so it's the same type of algorithm you're looking at. But I've seen Instagram ads before. I would advise you not to do a paid Instagram ad and to focus more on hashtags that will get your ad seen when someone does a search, and spend that money on the Facebook ad.
Okay, what about Twitter?
Same with Twitter. Twitter, you get a lot more organic search if you just post something versus paid ads. What I've noticed is when people are going through Twitter, they just keep scrolling right past those sponsored ads. And so when someone does click, you're spending money on someone who may have accidentally clicked on an ad and they're not really serious. Over Twitter, I would do LinkedIn. And this right now is not connected to LinkedIn. You can do a separate one on LinkedIn, but I would do LinkedIn over Twitter. And if you're going to do Instagram, I would do it more organically with the hashtags so that when someone goes to Instagram and they click on the search button, if you've hashtagged anything that they've seen before, liked before, or interested in, your whatever you posted is going to pop up.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry to.
Good. No. That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So the next step on this page right here, we've naming the goal. We've already said it's test Zoomer and we're looking for buyers. Whoops. We've attracted buyers. And you see the drop downs on all of these. So the next one is that you can do a couple of different things here. If you have listings that you're trying to promote, what will come up are the homes that you have either previously listed or have listed right now, as in the case of of these particular ones. If you have another, like, and I did it on the previous one. If you have another photo, you can actually add that photo in there and promote another area. Let's just say in this particular one, this is one over in McKinney, 1200 Canyon Rim, and we're gonna click that one. And what it does, it will populate, as you see here. It'll populate everything that's in the listing, okay? And in this particular case, I would say probably less is better, in my opinion, because what you want to do, the goal here to attract buyers is leave enough information unavailable that they either have to click learn more or they have to get in touch with you. And so if your listing says, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, all of that, 1,500 square feet, and you actually have the price on it, it's all going to show up here in this particular column. You may cut this back. Sorry.
You go into add text.
Yeah, where is that? It's been a while.
And so while he's, click on where it says add text and click on configure. While he's doing that, just so you guys know, you don't have to have you don't have to use a listing image. If you have a headshot picture of yourself you want to use, or if you have any other image that you want to use, you can click on that. You can use that image instead. If you don't have a listings, I know there's some new agents on here. If you reach out to a listing agent and say, hey, can I use your listing? No problem. The best way to get the listing in is at the very top where he clicked on the listing. You have to click on the button and change it and say all listings and type in the address that you want. So if you were advertising my listing and you clicked on add listing, there's a button up there. It says status is active and show. It says only my listings. You would need to click on that drop down and say all listings and then type in the address of the listing that you want, city and state, and then you can use that image. Or if you have an awesome image that you just found online, make sure you're not using an image that is protected by copyright. But if you found an image and you're like, oh, I like that, I want to use that instead, you can you can skip the listing part and go straight down to add media. And that's where you would insert the image. And so what he's doing right now is he clicked on add text, and add text is where you change the verbiage of an ad, or you put in what you want to see. And so best practices, I've had good results, and a lot of other agents say use the, what are the things called? You young people on the call, what are those little images called? What are they? Jack, what are those?
Icons?
The little image things. They grab people's attention. And Dina, don't
like down here, can everybody see this?
Yes, there you go.
Emoji.
Emoji. Thank you. So those grab people's attention when they're scrolling. And so
how old are you, Shelyna?
I'm still 20. I was doing a class with Nick Baldwin, and he pulled up this ad for a horse ranch, and he had horses. I'm like, oh yeah, I would stop and look at that versus not having anything or being too wordy. And also keep in mind, Facebook will cut off some of your wording. So what you're looking at on Ron's screen, the preview that you're seeing is a preview as if someone were looking at this at their computer screen. Ron, will you click on that drop down and change that to mobile preview?
Yes, hold on just one second. Bear with me. Mobile preview.
So go above your preview screen where the house is, and it says Facebook preview web feed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, click on that one and change to mobile. So this is what people are going to look at on their phone. And if you see where Ron has that image, the more information he puts after that, it's going to cut off. And they would have to click on the link to read more. So what he's got is short, sweet, to the point, captures my attention, makes me want to click on that house and see, oh, well, let me learn more. And so make sure you toggle between that, because most people nowadays are looking on their phone and not their computer screen.
Yep. So there's the normal feed and there's the mobile feed. Everybody see that? Good point. Thanks, Shelyna.
Yes, sir.
So up to now, I'm going to say this add text and everything that we have into it. So we've clicked off one, we've clicked off add text, we've clicked off click on add media. And in this particular one, this happens to be the image that's being used here. You can do a video, like if you were to go into upload a video, if you wanted to upload a video, and that would be like if you had done a virtual tour, you know, kind of, and this is some of the things that we're looking at right now. We want to do virtual tours. In this particular case, let's see, we don't have one on this one. We have one on some of our other ones, but you can upload a video or embed a video right here. So it's great because everything that you want to do is all right in front of you.
And I want to mention, I would stay away from embed a link, because what you're doing is giving them extra work and telling them click here to go to another video. And most people are not going to keep clicking. When you do a video, it's always good to keep the video short and sweet. Most adult attention span is about 3 minutes on a video is probably the max. 60 seconds is great timing to grab their attention, draw them in. And then if you have a YouTube channel, you can say, check out my YouTube channel for more images or more information about X, Y, and Z property.
Yep, great idea. So I'm going to back out of this one, but like I say, I want to point that out because I think that's really important, particularly if you know, in the distancing, social distancing that we're doing right now, we want to give them the opportunity to, you know, briefly tour the home. But going through this.
And where you see Ron has that picture where it says add image, if he clicked on add more, what happens is Facebook turns that into what's called a carousel. And so if he clicks on, let's say he added, I think, and I think this is still the same, you could add up to 6 images.
That's what,
It's going to carousel. You don't have to do anything to make it carousel. And when I say carousel, it usually waits about 3 to 4 seconds and it automatically goes to the next picture. And so you can add multiple pictures there. I would take like what Carol calls your money shots and add those and let them carousel through.
you have to do one at a time.
Yeah, they changed the setting. You used to be able to click a bunch, but this could be a good thing. They've added a feature to allow you to configure the photo. The photo has to be a certain size, and they're letting you crop the photos. Before, you just add all these photos, and there was no cropping whatsoever. So it's good if you want to crop out a tree or a trash can that happened to make its way to the photo.
Like that trash can.
So while he's doing that, do we have any questions so far? I'm checking the chat section. Please don't put your questions in the chat or unmute yourself. Ask us any questions you have, anything out there while we're going through this.
Nothing.
Oh, y'all are good. So for description, as you're editing, the preview is going to show you exactly what section you're editing. And so if you say, well, I don't know what a headline is, or I don't know what a description is, just start typing and then look at your preview. You're going to see that section change. And they have a saying, success leaves clues. I highly recommend that you guys jump into the Command Your Conversion Facebook page. And when you're in there, be sure to look at Facebook ads, because what people have done is taken the ads that have been successful and said, just copy my verbiage, change the address, etc. And that information could be helpful for someone who says, I never run an ad before, I don't even know what to say. So like your headline should be something short and sweet. Buy this home with no down payment, for instance, if that's something that you're running. If you do it too long, Facebook's going to cut it off. Yes, Jim?
Yeah, in that add media, could you go back to that? It said add your logo, and I went into the lower right. is that the KW down there to the lower right, little red? It's real tiny down there.
Are you looking at which page are you looking at?
It says DBA logo.
That's what he uploaded. Terry I'm sorry. He uploaded that.
When I look at the picture of the pool table, it looks like it's so tiny I can't see it really, but it looks like the logo got imposed onto the picture in the lower right.
It does.
Is that what that is?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And if you click on images, a button will pop up that has the logo that you put in when you were updating your settings. And that's the logo that it's using. And if you don't have one, it says click here to find your Market Center's DBA logo. You can click on that link and it will take you to some logos. And Command does have preloaded logos in there that you can use as well.
Okay.
That help?
Yeah.
Good with that? Okay. So then we have this. Okay, so we're good name. We got the listing. We have the ad text. We have the ad media. Now we're going to configure the Facebook ad as to what we're, what our plan is and what we want to do here. Pages. And McCoy's Realty. See, this is the account is Terry McCoy, which is her account. And as you see, the business page that we have is a drop down. You have to do this drop down, and this is what we were talking about earlier. This drop down drops into the Real McCoy's Realty business page. Okay.
Yeah.
And this number 2 talks about the destination is really important. Because what happens here is if you let Facebook generate the lead generation form, like when somebody goes on wants information, they as in Facebook will generate this on your behalf. In other words, it's a call to action, says learn more, and then follow-up designation or destination. You can actually send them to a different landing page. But in this case, I think you want to just leave them right here, learn more about what, and have them fill the information out. This is really important. This is where you vet the people that are the potential buyers, attracting buyers that are really want more information about that home. So in this particular case, you're going to get really fewer prospects, but better quality. In other words, leads and information, versus clicking here where you will get probably a broader number of people, but less good information.
Well, let me back up a little bit. So what the difference is between those two buttons, Facebook lead generation form is when someone clicks on a link and it says use, would you like to continue using Facebook is what the message is going to say. Yep. That's where it pulls in their the information that they've already registered with Facebook. Email, phone number, if it has it. That information pulls in there. If you use a site or landing page, you're plugging in a web page and you're having people go to that page. So you're really not going to, unless you use a landing page that has an opt-in. And what an opt-in is when they get to that page, it's automatically collecting information from them. So when we put our stuff out there on the web, it's out there. Those opt-in sites will automatically collect email, phone number, and name from them. The button that he's referring to, the call to action button, this is just the button that they're going to click on to get to either the Facebook questions, and Facebook already has it populated. They can change it. Facebook says, we're not going to force you to use this information. They can change the phone number and email address, but it's whatever they register Facebook with. Right. I would highly recommend never to do a sign up or apply now, because that's implying to someone that they're buying into something, and people are terrified of that. Right. Learn more will get them to that page, and I'll show you guys later what it looks like to have an opt-in page. So what it's going to look like when they click on that learn more button.
Yep, good point. Okay, and then coming over here to add targeting, you can create you could take your database, for example, and upload that into Facebook, and then create a, my database target audience, and that would drop down here. It has to be in Facebook as a group. Am I correct, Shelyna?
For the ad targeting?
Yeah, for ad targeting.
If you're targeting your database, you upload your database here. Otherwise, click on use
In other words,
custom
but you would create a group called My Database, for example.
in command. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
It's
And then it says, once you put in that target database, it will upload a custom list to Facebook. And then you're able to target either a neighborhood or someone you've tagged before, or both. And so, yes, it will create that list in Facebook. And really quick, just want to go back up to number 2 really quick. There was a tab that said follow-up destination URL. Just so you guys know, if you have a, like say for instance, I used to offer free buyer's guides, free seller's guides. If you turn that into a PDF, what happens is after they've gone to the learn more button and they click on that link, it's going to give them whatever the PDF is that you have. So that's an extra buy-in. If someone's clicking that link, they are a serious buyer, a serious seller, because now they're downloading your information. And so if you've created a landing page through command, you can link it here. Or if you want to link to your mobile app and say, download my mobile app here, it's in command and you can add it here as a follow-up destination. So I wanted to make sure we hit on that one.
Thank you. Let's see. So then, okay, then back over here, if we target a custom audience, bear with me, target my database, right here, I'm trying to.
And another good thing to do on the follow-up destination is, like for us, what we were doing was actually doing the Matterport virtual 3D tour. So once they submit their information, that's when they're getting the Matterport 3D.
Good point. Thank you, Jack. That's where that goes. So if we, just for example, if we want to create a new audience out of our database and target by tags, this is what's in command. For example, in command we have agents and our A&W Allied Resources downline, Dave Ramsey. Let's say Dave Ramsey ELPs. Then we would create a target audience to Dave Ramsey ELPs, for example. So this is right out of your command database in doing that. Otherwise, if you were in McKinney, for example, and you wanted to target an area within a 10 miles, it defaulted to 20 miles, but let's say you wanted to do it, let's say you want to do 20-mile square radius around McKinney. That's pretty big. Let's say a 10-mile square radius, then Facebook would, I guess you can't go less than that. Facebook will pick a 15 square mile radius around McKinney to do this, to promote this ad based on where they are. Does that make sense?
So to add on to what Ron is saying, a good use for targeting would be if you know the listing is in Plano and you know that the average person is going to drive 20 to 30 miles out from that, then that is what you want to put in there, because the bigger you make that, you're stretching your money now. And so you want to make sure that you don't spread yourself thin by making a 50-mile radius when you know most people are not going to drive 50 miles between work and home. And so you'll get more use out of your money if you narrow that down, which is why they now have it at 20. But if you were to narrow that down, I probably wouldn't go any higher than 30.
Yeah. Okay. And was there a question? Everybody good? Gotcha. Okay. And now let's take a look at this when we go down through here. The thing that you want to, where you're targeting to. So now we're targeting in and around McKinney within 15 miles. And then you want to take this one step further and kind of set up your demographics. And in here, this populates based on what Facebook has put in there as far as different types of categories. For example, real estate. Let's see. should populate real estate. So there's a number of interests about real estate broker, economics, entrepreneur, real estate license. Things like this are what you may want to pick. Not necessarily, but this is kind of a trial and error. Shelyna, what has your experience been as far as the targeting in this audience, being real more specific?
This
Like,
is where Command and I don't get along that much, because when I was in Facebook, so I'm really big on eliminating realtors, meaning
Yeah.
I don't want realtors to see my ads, because you're paying every time a real estate agent clicks on a link. If they want to see my ad, there's other places that they can go to it. I'm trying to attract buyers. So when I'm in the interest mode, I type in buyers. There is one for buyer, and I believe it's first-time home buyer. Yep, there's one for first-time home buyer grants. Some other things that I have done would be like Lowe's, HGTV, home improvement. So you want to think about things that someone who type in buyer, Ron.
it's buyer, okay.
Yeah, you wanna tag on things that if I did not own a home, what are some of the sites that I would look at? And so yes, people go to Zillow. However, you want to be careful not to click on Zillow Premier, because Zillow Premier is for people who pay for leads. And basically what you're doing is saying, here, agent, take this ad, share it, and now you get the leads. So I'll do Zillow. And this is what I love about the regular Facebook ads, is you get to eliminate that. Command doesn't have that feature built in yet where I can eliminate them. And so you just got to be really careful about who you target. Just make sure you're targeting people. Think about, if I didn't own a home, what are some of the sites that I would want to, that I would visit, that I would look at in regards to buying a home?
These are, and just so everybody knows, these are four that we generally use. Like when we're doing it, Zillow, Trulia, because somebody's looking for a home search, they're going to go to Zillow or Trulia. They're going to be a first-time home buyer. That's always a good one. And the mortgage calculator, because they want to find out what their mortgage is.
Mm-hmm.
Those are four, I think, that you can't go wrong with.
So are those phrases that people have typed into the search bar?
Those are sites or pages that they have liked. And so if you go to Zillow's page, you can click the like button on Zillow's page. Well, Facebook is tracking that. Facebook tracks that. So when we put this in here, Facebook says, okay, you just said you want to find people who like Zillow. Well, here's a ton of people who said they like Zillow. We're going to put your ad in front of them.
But when you look at the first-time home buyer, have they clicked a page called first-time home buyer or something like that?
No, they've clicked on anything related to a first-time home buyer or renting. So for instance, it could be renter's insurance, or it could be maybe they were looking up anything that dealt with renting. So Facebook goes out there and they find those tags, and they find anything that someone has liked, and they say, this must be a first-time homeowner. I'm going to go ahead and put this ad in front of them.
Okay. I don't think there's anything. Renting. These might be good.
With the fair housing, they've taken a lot out.
Yeah.
If you click on the drop down button, it's just too much to go through. But I would click on like insurance. That may be one. There is one in here called apartment guide, apartment list, apartments.com. Those we know if someone's in an apartment, they don't own a home. It could be that maybe they sold a home, or they just moved to Texas. So things like that. If I have a luxury home, I might do architecture and design. I look for financing and investment. If it's an investor, they probably like financing pages. They probably like investment pages. And so I may want to look into things like that. There is, you have the mortgage one on there. I would stay away from most of the real estate if you can. I would do, let's see, there's another one on here called cash out refinance. Well, if someone's doing a cash out refinance, that's probably going to deal with real estate. And so if I was marketing to people in that sense, I could do that. So go down the checklist. There's a lot in there, which is why it's easier to type it. But if you're curious, just click on that checklist and go down.
No. And you can see the different audiences in the different categories, Zillow, Trulia, and, you know, down through there as far as how large those audiences get. So here we, go ahead, Jim.
What's going to happen with this ad that Ron has put together? It's only going to show on people's Facebook pages that have clicked one of those before. Is that correct?
If they've shown any interest, so they don't necessarily, so like for instance, I just clicked on one that said creative real estate investment. There's another one on here called corporation, and there's another one called consumer debt. They don't necessarily have to have clicked on that page that they liked it, but maybe they visited that page. That leaves an impression, and Facebook can target and track back these impressions and say, okay, well, based on your search history. So like, I'll give you a great example. I was on my iPad looking up pools. As soon as I went to my phone, what's the first advertisement that popped up? A ton of pool companies. And so that you have a footprint on social media, and that's what it's following, is the footprint. Because I didn't click on any of those pages on my iPad, but because Facebook, I was on Pinterest. So Facebook knew, okay, she likes Pinterest. We're following her algorithm through Pinterest. Oh, wait a minute. She just looked at pools. Let's throw these ads at her because we think this is what she's looking for.
Okay, I'm with you.
Jim, they're called cookies, and they stick with you wherever you go.
Jack, I was trying not to head to the kitchen and get some cookies because I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to convince myself Oreos for breakfast is not a good look.
In computer terminology, cookies.
Yes.
But they stick with you. They if you look at one thing, it's gonna filter it through all of your other searches.
And there's even one on here that says custom home. So maybe you got a builder listing and someone who does, or not even a builder listing, maybe your client just super customized home and you want to put that in front of people. Well, custom homes, the audience is about 1.684 million. That doesn't mean all of them are going to get the ad, because the amount of money you spend is going to determine that.
I got it.
And it's only the ones that are going to be in his 15-mile radius that are even going to count, right?
Correct. So you may have someone in a
correct.
15-mile radius who doesn't even like design, who doesn't like corporations, who doesn't like anything. The ad's not going to show in front of them. Like there's even one on here for duplex. So if you get a townhome or a condo and you want to get this in front of people who like duplexes, well, there's almost 12 million people who've done that. And if you're in Plano, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find someone who's like that and get their attention.
So let's see, now let's come down here. I'm gonna go ahead and save this, and it's gonna tell me that I've done something incorrect. And let's see. I'll just send them to our website for right now so that we can complete this.
You clicked on target database. It's asking you to put, uncheck that one. Target database.
Target database. Oh, I have to unclick that one.
Yes, and then click the other one.
And then click the other one and then create the.
Unclick target database. There you go.
Here. There it is. That's what I was trying to get to. Okay, good. And then if we go over here, now I should be able to save this. So now we're saved, ready to go. With the exception of one important point, duration and how much you want to spend. And this is kind of up to you. I think what we found out, or what Keller Williams has found out in working with Facebook, they're talking about probably a minimum of 10 days and not more than 30 is kind of what, I think that's a rule of thumb. So let's say we wanted to have our ad run for 10 days. So it'll automatically recalculate. Over here, it's daily per channel. Again, defining that a channel is Facebook, another channel would be Instagram, another channel would be Twitter. In this case, we're only doing Facebook, so it's $1 a day. And we know that it's going to run 10 days. We're going to put $10, 10 days, and that money comes out of your account that you've set up through command on a periodic basis. In other words, when it runs, it'll withdraw that $10 based on what you set up during that period of time. So right now, if we're ready to go, we could just set it up and go right now because you're perfectly set up. And that then going back to your, I'm going to save this as a, before I save it as a draft because it may go away. Does anybody have questions about where up to this point, where we have, how we've set this up?
Okay, so do you have to do anything with the Facebook ad manager on your business page at all?
No. To my knowledge, you don't. It should be already set up. As long as you have already gone. I'm gonna go ahead and save this, Jim. It's a good question. Are you sure you want to save it as a draft? I'm just gonna save it as a draft right now, test draft. If you go into, let it keep saving. And that's a good point for those of you that have maybe have not set up the syncing between Facebook and command. I think that's probably the most important first step. I'm not like I said, I'm not sure where everybody is right now. But if you go into your profile up here in the upper right hand corner, settings, profile. I think it's settings, isn't it, Shelyna?
For your credit card?
Yeah, well, yeah, where it links up. Yeah, go into settings.
In settings, yes. And you have two. You have post scheduling and you have the regular Facebook. But
regular Facebook ad manager. This is
ad manager.
This is where you would in the very beginning, if you've never done a Facebook ad, that you would go in here and set this up with your Facebook business account and tie the two together, sync them up, command and Facebook, and then you would be able to go on creating a campaign and it would automatically tie in with your Facebook ad manager. Does that, everybody clear on that? Jim, I think that was a really good question. That has to be done very beginning if you've not done it yet.
I haven't.
Any other questions on this? And then just for posting, now this is a free post, the general social media post, you would tie the two together under this route here, connecting the apps, Facebook app with command. And Jim or anybody else outside of today, we can certainly sit down with you and help you get done if there's questions or you need some assistance in doing that. That's why we're here. Just send a text or an email and we'll sit down with you, no problem at all.
Okay.
So what questions do you guys have on this? Anything?
It's a little bit, there's a lot. It looks like a lot, but if you do it a couple times and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, you can do maybe a week for $5, for example.
Well, I was going to add in, if you want to do, like if you say, I know like one of the agents I talked to, when she first got in this business, she said her budget was $100 a month. And I'm like, $100 a month? How in the heck can you run a real estate business for $100 a month? But if you think about it, if you want to run your business off of social media, well, posting the social media is free. But what if you ran ads $25 a week, every week for 4 weeks? Well, there's your $100. And when these ads come in, we'll show you where they go. But when these leads come in, it's now our job to follow up on those leads and to nurture those leads. And so if social media is a thing you want to go for, great. You can go right down to where it says duration and budget. And you can set that at, $25 for the week and then save it. You'll just be charged $25 and you can go in and change your ad every week. So now that's how you're building brand awareness, because if you keep the same tags in there, and the same people are seeing you over and over again, you're building brand awareness now.
Good point. And then on these, it's going a little bit slow right now, but I'm back on the campaigns in in our dashboard, and you can do, what you spent, the leads, the different campaigns, and the engagement. If you notice what it is up here, I clicked on leads, and you will also be able to download those. Number one, a lead will go into your contact database as a lead, as a Facebook lead, just so everyone knows this. And then you can extract them and put them on a call schedule or set them up on a campaign. But in this particular case, there's not enough. It didn't pull.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for the leads for the paid ad.
Oh, you got to go into contacts to get those.
Yeah.
They moved it over to contacts.
What I was looking at here, for example, there's a couple different ways to get to them. See all these different leads, like the 3 that we have right here? I can click them. That's a hyperlink to those 3 leads. So I want to make sure that I'm contacting them, and I should have received a notification, which I did on my phone, about their interest in that particular property. And again, it's speed to the lead, speed to the lead. So there you are. There's all the telephone numbers and all the email addresses that are associated with that, with Lowell and Cecilia and Margaret, that are in Facebook. So I should be doing this like immediately. Mm-hmm. Right, Jack? Is that they come to your phone as well, right?
They do not, because my phone's not linked to Terry's.
Anyway, but we get them over to you so that
right. Yeah, I go in there every day and look.
Yeah, they populate. So,
and I will say, if you don't, I'm sorry, Ron, go ahead.
Please go ahead. That's fine.
Well, I was going to say, Jack brought up a good point. If you don't have it linked, usually the alerts come to me via Kelly. If you don't have it linked, I would make it a best practice, because in the beginning, when I first started doing these ads, I didn't realize that the leads were, I forgot I even had the ad going till somebody asked me how was it going. I'm like, oh, let me check. When you go in, I recommend you go in at least 3, if you're running an ad, 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening, to see if a new lead came in, because that's how you want, the faster you can connect with them, the easier the conversion will be, because they're on the site, they see it right away, and you have a better chance of converting versus waiting 2 or 3 days later when they've totally forgot which house they even clicked on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, excellent point. Those, like I say, speed to the lead is what ultimately will get you the opportunity to create a relationship with them. And then you set them up on a 10-touch campaign after they come up here. That's through the smart plans and the campaigns that way.
Say, Ron or Shelyna, I'm not sure which one, maybe Jack knows this. Is there an autoresponder program, an email autoresponder? There's somebody sends in a lead, boom, they get, hey, I'll get with you in a few minutes.
So there is something out there. It is on Facebook Messenger, however. There is a way to set it up in smart plans. You can set it up as a trigger that when the lead comes in, they get triggered to get a text from Twilio. I need my cookies. Twilio or an email that will go out. So you can go into campaigns, not campaign. Is it campaign? Yes, campaigns, and set it up as a trigger that when a lead comes in, they get this message. But I think the one on Facebook Messenger is really cool too.
Yeah, but you got to actually go to Messenger, right?
Yes. So if you have the app on your phone for Messenger, you'll get a notification on your screen that someone just sent you a message, and you can jump in at any time and take over the message from the bot that's answering your behalf. And so this is kind of like the same thing. If you go into campaigns, and the trigger is when a lead comes in. And so you just got to remember, when you're putting in a contact, and if you put them in as a lead, that may trigger that automatic message, even though you've already spoken to that lead. So just don't put the, I don't know if there is yet. I'll have to ask a way to not put someone on a campaign if you've automatically inserted them versus a Facebook lead that came in that now the system is triggered to send them a text message that says, thank you so much for visiting. If you have any questions, we'll get right back to you, or shoot us a quick message and we'll get right back to you.
And then where we are right here, this is what I was trying to pull up. If you want to, over here, like on this, let's say this one's completed. I know I have 60 leads. There were 546 clicks, so it was, you know, pretty inexpensive cost per click. And then over here, if you click on these 3 buttons, you can do a number of different things to this particular ad. But I think more importantly, this is where you want to download, or you want to export those leads. So what you're looking at, right, whoops, I should be able to export.
And while he's doing that, also, you'll notice when he clicked on that, it says there's a button there that says duplicate campaign. So let's say you're going to set a budget for yourself to go $100 a month, and you create 4 really good campaigns. You can just keep duplicating that campaign. Like, say I have a buyer campaign and I want to duplicate it every 4 weeks. You can go ahead and duplicate that campaign without having to start all over again.
I'm not, Shelyna, do you know if I just downloaded the campaign, didn't give me all the leads.
So let me go to.
Is there a way to?
Yeah, click the box next to name, and then go right next to lead pool. It'll have bulk.
Well, I think you're trying to. Are you trying to do it from the actual ad?
Yes. On a per ad basis.
Click that box,
right?
And then select bulk.
Oh, it's under bulk. Yeah, I always get messed up because it's all grayed out. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wanted to show everybody that again. Let me back up just a little bit because I think this is important to be able to do. If let's say we're on the paid ads, and I move over here to it's loading, and then I move over here to let's say the 60 contact leads that had clicked through on this one, and then I come over here to the names of the individual. In this gray area, which actually it should be a little bit darker, I can export those contacts. Does everybody see this? I can export that list of contacts so I have it in one spot. And then what happens is you see your export was successful, please check back. So you'll know this, go up into the notification section up next to your photo, and there'll be a notification that allows you to pull that. Let me read. It takes a minute sometimes. There'll be a notification that says to download that list. Should be pretty quick in this one, just so everybody understands how to do this. And I was working with, there it is. So now your export contact is finished. Click here to download by clicking just a few seconds ago. Now that export is right here in an Excel CSV file. So you have the name, you have the telephone number, which is 95%, if it's good, it's going to be their cell phone number, and then all of their email address.
And Ron, if you go back to command real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
If you click the top right where it says show 1 of 10.
Oh, thank you, Jack.
Click that and maximize it to the.
Yeah. Okay, that should have brought them all in. Yeah. Thank you.
Instead of doing 5 different CSV files.
Does everybody understand that also? That's a good point, Jack. Thank you. Over here on this hyperlink where it says Yo, it defaults to 1 to 10. It only shows 10. Sometimes you're going to have more than 10, or it'll allow you to go up to 50 contacts, to show 50 contacts. In this case, we don't have those 50, but that allows you to get more than just 10.
So guys, I know it's 2 o'clock and I know these calls will automatically cut off on us. I want to be able to answer any questions that you guys may have before we get disconnected. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. How can I go back and, is there any record you can check the today classes?
Say that again?
Are we going back to the day classes? Was that the question?
The today
Yes,
classes?
when the office opens back up, we will go back to day classes. Right now, we're having to do these through Zoom.
Okay. Okay, then.
And we don't have a time frame when the office is going to open.
Is there any way that it's recorded or not?
Yes, these are recorded. Yes, these are recorded. And Eddie, if you go to the KW Facebook page, Eddie left a note on where you can find the videos that have been recorded.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's my question.
Sure.
Awesome. Anything else you guys have questions about? Any support you're needing? Anything?
I'll shoot you email if I'm lost.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. And guys, don't forget, take advantage of the KW Commander conversion. It is a Keller Williams, not Keller Williams International, but it is focused on KW agents, and they do have a step-by-step video on their YouTube channel that you can click on if you want to do an ad and you're just not sure. Or if you go to our Facebook group and you look at Eddie's post, he will show you where to go and find the pre-recorded or find these recorded classes. And so we thank you so very much. I don't know when this is going to cut off, but I remember I was on one and I'm like, what happened? So thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it. If you need more one-on-one, reach out to us and we got you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everybody.